God.
Wow.
This is the one you eat, like, if you come home at 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, maybe had, like, 37 beers, and you would regret it.
Why don't you guys stay in your lane for a second?
Whoa, we're all driving now.
Everyone's merging. Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah, I guess we'll give this one a nib. I guess you gotta kind of start at the base, right? The dough.
Also the size, like how big do we want the pizza to be?
Right.
We saw a lot of different shapes, sizes, diameters of circles today.
Yeah, personal
Everything was
pan.
literally on the table.
But once we get the dough sorted out, we can adjust a recipe to figure out what size, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And I think in the dough, there was also doughs that had whole wheat, all white, and then going deeper on like what the makeup of that dough is.
And do you slide it onto like a stone, or is it like in the pan? It was like full contact with the surface, or there's like something where you get more like blisters and bubbles on the bottom.
I'm
That'd be
here for
hard.
the blisters, personally.
What's
Did
that?
you like
we can
blisters?
toss it in the air and get down. Great. Okay, the only criteria is tossable.
No, I think the dough does have. Should we just talk about dough then?
I mean, it's going to have dough.
Right. Well, I mean, I definitely don't want to take like the deep dish route.
You don't want the thick crust?
I don't want that. Like,
No.
And
No,
it wasn't
no
even,
cake pan?
The one wasn't even like it wasn't. It was almost like a shortbread cookie.
It was
like,
Yeah, really crumbly.
It wasn't
No
like
chew.
it wasn't bread.
Yeah, I mean, I want chew.
You gotta have a little
Yeah,
chew.
good
You know, a little
chew.
gluten
And
structure.
And I like the sort of pillowy, like I want those big blisters and bubbles.
Yeah,
and
me too.
A certain softness too.
And I like when it has. I don't like when the crust is just flat and then it goes into nothing. I like to have that little bit of a lip, like the crust lip,
The raised edge.
the raised
Yeah.
edge.
And
Some
then if you're going to
blister.
have bubbles, having them not be all over the center surface where it's like knocking toppings off, you know what I mean? You get a mountain growing up in the middle and it's like,
Oh, those air pods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
As a
want to
kid,
figure
the weird-
out
always like
in
Weren't
the
you-
middle though, but like, is there something about having it raised around
Right.
the outer edge, but
Yeah.
your center area
Low.
down?
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can buy that.
So big bubbles, lots of good charring,
Yeah,
but
char-
not
good
all
char.
over. Like a lot, I feel like a lot of the pies we tried were just a little
A kiss,
overcharred.
Yeah, a kiss
Yeah,
of
but
char,
wasn't
not
it
like
char.
in the I want chard on top and bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Little spots, little speckles.
Right.
of-
Still, but not like you
Char.
don't want it to be it's like a cracker. Like you want
No.
softness and chewiness still there. So like a good mix of color and char, but like still a dough
I
that
like when it
maintains
holds its
moisture.
weight, though. I don't like when it's super.
Well, I
Fluffy.
think the point has to droop a little.
The point, yeah, fine.
Touch,
The
but-
point,
Yeah.
yeah.
But if the
But the
cheese
whole
is
thing's a
slipping
soup
and half
sandwich.
ends up
It
on
shouldn't be
the-
like so wet.
Right. Like if you pick it up by the crust, you shouldn't lose the cheese.
No, cheese slippage.
But
You
it
should be
also
able to
is
pick
like
it
the
up.
balance of, between the dough
Little point
and
tip
the
fun.
sauce and the cheese.
Right.
and
The
everything.
proportions are crucial.
I just don't expect it to like lift up from the thing and stay perfectly. Like that's a stiff, like not
You're getting
giving
in the,
dough.
like,
you
crackery
know?
texture
Yeah, I don't
instead
want
of-
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there any reason not to cook it directly on the oven floor? Like, is there any reason to have the intermediary of a pan, whether you're talking grandma or round or?
Well, I think with grandma you have to.
Well, yeah, I'm sure, but like, I mean, with like round or something oblong, like a little bit like less perfect. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're not going for
Yeah.
like.
I mean, I think
a
if we're not,
circle.
I think if we're not going to be able to cook in like a classic like New York coal-fired oven or even like wood-fired, like you got to
We're
just
not?
go onto the surface. I don't know. Well, we'll have to
No,
see.
We didn't get to the heat.
No, we
portion of the
didn't.
quiz today.
Right.
So I have my thoughts about that too.
Is it round?
I think
I think,
so.
yeah,
I think it's round. I
As
just,
close
I
as
mean, my
possible.
point being, like, yeah, I don't really see an argument for a grandma pie, other than the fact that like they can be amazing. But I feel like we're going for like absolute, as close to perfection as possible. And I feel like grandma pie like is just too limiting.
I think it's a variable.
It's a
Like
variable.
it's not an ode. Well,
it's,
it is
It's delicious.
in
It's
its own way.
just different.
Yeah.
You know.
Or I'm thinking also of like the Il Forno pies that were oblong.
right. They're, like,
and they were hand
irregular.
stretched, but they weren't round.
Right.
But I also feel it should be round.
I agree.
I think the people want round.
Well, round shows that like you knew how to shape your dough. You knew
Right.
what you were doing so that you could end up in that round place,
Right.
right? Whereas like
Right.
like Al Forno, like, hey, I'm throwing it on the grill and things are
I
happening.
just stretched it out
Yeah.
and flinged it over. Yeah. So again, throwing it in the air seems important.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I guess it's another way of saying like stretched and not rolled.
Right.
You know, like that's a whole. Not. I don't really know like the nuances of that argument, but like people are like you definitely should stretch the dough, not like use a rolling
Roll,
pin
yeah.
to like flatten it out.
I
Yeah.
have never successfully really shaped the pizza by throwing it.
Well, we'll see.
I mean,
It's gotta be hard.
We should watch YouTube videos of the international competition for,
Oh, they're
for
insane.
pizza
They
throwing.
dance while
Yeah.
Do you think that there will be audience members who will be upset if you go with a thin crust versus a deep dish or a
Like you're always gonna upset someone.
we're
Yeah, we're
definitely
With
gonna
pizza,
upset.
yeah.
Brad's used to upsetting people, so
Yeah, right.
My
that's
whole
cool.
life. So.
I think that's why we have to pick a lane and go down that lane and not try and be
Stick to
the
your
perfect
gun.
Can't
every
be all
kind
things
of
to
pizza.
everyone.
Yeah.
But also within thin crust, it's not like thin crust like a cracker like California Pizza Kitchen style, but where it isn't a thick crust, right?
Well, what are you saying?
A style like thin crust as a style. What does that mean?
I think
Right,
that
because
Oh,
there's
like
like
narrow
cracker
it down
crust.
more because there's
St.
other.
There's St. Louis style pizza, which has
is
no
just
leavening,
wrong,
which has
you
just like
know.
sugar in it.
Right.
So,
And Provel.
Which is
There's
delicious,
that.
and Provel.
The Provel I like.
I know. Should we? Is the perfect pizza topped with Provel?
No.
Let's go straight.
Okay. All right. Well, it depends on who you ask.
Well, that's the other thing, because everyone's gonna have their own. I think you're right. You kind of have to pick a lane and stick to your guns on something.
Right.
Round, nice chew to it, right? Little
Yeah.
structure.
Yeah. But also like I feel like the best crust or the crusts that I really love are the ones that like are really chewy but also kind of like have a lightness to them too.
And
you know?
crispy on the outside and
Yeah.
on the bottom. Like
Yeah,
I like when
right.
the crust has it's you can crush it, but inside it's like hot, soft bread that's steaming. You know.
Yeah, that's where that.
And I feel like that means
Yeah.
like white flour, like
Oh, big
not
time.
like because whole wheat. It's just like it just makes it so crumbly and like a little it dries it out a little bit.
You're talking like double O.
We're gonna have to see. I don't know.
We're gonna have to find out.
Yeah.
So we did a poll for the BA audience on the community, and 66% of them prefer thin crust. So
Right.
probably they'll be happy if you go
We're in the majority.
in that
Uh-huh.
direction.
I don't think there was ever really.
How many?
66%.
So
2/3.
34%.
And the rest preferred
Just thick.
Chicago?
Well, the other options were deep dish or the
Grandma Sicilian.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I love
Okay.
a good Sicilian.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Sicilian.
I mean, when it's good, it's fantastic.
But it feels like its own thing, sort
Yeah.
of.
It
is.
Like I feel like when people think of pizza, they think of like an iconic round cut into triangles,
Yeah.
like thin crust, just as in like not pillowy, Sicilian grandma, but just like with that classic shape, like
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles style.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Round.
with good ingredients.
But-
Ninja Turtle pizza
How do you
with
know?
good ingredients.
How do you-
Yeah,
how
well,
do
No,
you-
that's what we're going for. That's what you want. You want that
Why
like
was
chew.
it a bad pizza? Like,
Oh, come on. They're in a
It's
sewer.
a cartoon.
They were in a sewer. What do you think they're doing? Going up and milling
Their
it
best
somewhere?
friend is a rat. Come on.
You leave him out of this. He's a good man.
So not French bread crust.
No.
We didn't have
Not a
that.
bagel
Or-
pizza.
I also
Not a
noticed
pizza
we
bagel.
didn't see pizza bagels, which I was surprised.
Or like
to know,
English muffin
but
bagel.
And
none
no
of it.
cheese
Bagel
stuff-
bites.
There can be no cheese
show.
stuffed
Cheese stuffed
into
crust.
the crust. That is a big no.
I mean, is it?
With the Neapolitan style in New York, I think it's, in my mind, the perfect. It's like a little love child between the two of them.
Yeah.
A little happy spot in between there.
Right.
Well, what are the big differences, really? I mean, one
Size.
is made usually New York style pizza is made in a deck oven
Right.
as opposed
Coal.
to like a wood
Right.
burning oven.
How hot do those ovens run? Like a New York style pizza
Well,
oven?
New York style like cooks longer at a slightly lower temp,
Yeah.
At
so
what,
that you
700,
can,
800?
and
Yeah,
then you
not
can
even.
like. I feel like with New York, it's like the foldability. It's like the Neapolitan has that sort of wetter center
Yeah.
and is smaller.
Right.
And with New York style, you get like the big triangles, and you can
Right.
fold it,
And
and,
you
the
don't
point
get
doesn't
big
droop
air
as much.
bubbles.
And it's
Right.
the
In
the New
grated
York
cheese,
style.
it's the ladle of sauce.
Right.
Right. Grated cheese.
On
a New York
on the New York
slice?
slice?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, what else are they using?
Oh, I was thinking parm when you said grated cheese, but
Oh,
you're
right.
talking about like shredded.
That's what I'm
Like
shredded.
shredded,
lots
low
of it.
moisture.
Not
Yeah,
shredded.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like too, it's just like when I think of a Neapolitan, that's like a pizza that I'm gonna eat the entire thing myself. In New York, it's like just a bigger proportion, bigger slices, sturdier.
Right.
And I'm sure there's like flour differences there too. Like, do you guys watch the pizza? Well, sorry, not to like talk about another show in a show, but like the the pizza episode of Ugly Delicious, which was just like the first one.
Yeah, I did not.
It's just like there's all the
Did not.
rules that I don't really know what they are about, like what it's like a
Neapolitan.
government protected designation of like what a true Neapolitan slice is. I don't know what they are, but you know, in New York, I just feel like they're just
More
like we're
regular.
not.
Yeah.
It's its own set of rules and standards and everything. Different flour.
Right.
So are we saying it falls somewhere in between the two?
I thought it should.
Well, size will be determined by the oven too, because like I don't know how big of
Right.
a piece we'll be able to achieve, but I don't know. Because I think we're in the Breville, it can only be 12 inches. So
12 inch max.
yeah, in the size
We're gonna have
of
an
the oven. Well,
So personal pick.
or should we try the trick where you turn off the mechanism on your oven that locks it on cleaning
Yeah,
mode?
right.
And then you can
And then you can get it
get
up
to like
to-
1,000
We do
degrees.
have an
Yeah.
angle grinder. We can cut that little right off. It does work.
Do you think? How do you think Port Authority will feel if we do
Well,
that
Claire, we
in
can't
the
tell
World
them.
Trade Center? Okay, we'll find out later.
have to watch
That's fine.
after.
Just ask for
Sue the
forgiveness,
company.
not
It's
permission.
okay. I worked for a chef at one point who just put wood logs in the gas grill. And was like,
Whoa.
wood burning grill. Yep, in a regular Ansel system.
Damn.
So
Way
that
to
was
do it.
cool. We could do that. Just put burning logs in the oven.
Well, Claire, you're kind of the bread person here at BA, so you're kind of on the dough detail.
Okay, that feels like a lot of pressure.
Well, good thing you're excel under pressure, Claire.
All right, thanks. 'Cause without the dough, you got no pizza.
That's
That
right.
is true.
So we'll see. But you guys will be around for the testing part,
Yes.
so you can
Yeah.
weigh
For
in
sure.
and let me know what you think.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be testing it in like a countertop pizza oven. So
Well, I hope not.
we come over to your house. You got to work
Yeah,
with
we'll
the
fire
oven.
up. No. But I think we should go. Are we jumping around a little too much here?
It's okay.
I think we should go somewhere to really make the pizza. In my mind, the perfect pizza is not 12 inches.
It's what, 16, 18?
I mean, sure, give me 14. I don't know. Just
I agree though that a 12-inch pizza,
It's just
the
silly.
ratio
Like, are we
of
at a bar?
crust to everything else
It's
would
a
get a
little
little
skewed.
dicey. Like
All right. Well, for at
Yeah.
least for testing purposes, we might have to go that size just because that's what we have here.
You could develop.
But we'll try to
the
do it.
final guy.
Yeah.
will be.
But like I'm
bigger.
seeing something that's like 200 years old, made of brick. There's fire.
Where is
So they're
literally
throwing it in there. So I mean, we're talking perfect.
As long as it's hot.
That's
I think
true.
it's got, you
Real
need
hot.
that extreme heat. You need to
Right.
get a lot of lift. You need
Yeah.
bubbles. You need char. You need an underside that's
Right.
getting the, that texture on it. Like, it can't
Right.
be in a regular oven.
Right. Yeah, because you need that. That's how you're gonna get that nice
Yeah.
little lift, and then the heat's gonna capture
Okay,
it.
Right.
I'll tell you what. I'll work on the dough. You work on the oven. See if
Deal.
you can get a coal burning multi-deck oven
Challenge
in
accepted.
here.
One. Just work on the next few weeks.
Right. The dome. Bring in the dome.
The
You're
dome.
gonna need Paul
Just
Fred.
call your friend the mason.
Yeah. He knows that's
Start
what he
building
does,
in
man.
here.
That's right.
Great.
All right, I'm glad Claire's doing dough. Phew.
Cool.
Let's pivot and start talking about sauce.
Well, can I just say what I don't like, which is the sauces that are like so concentrated
Yeah.
and
Jam-
They're
tomato
like
pasty.
They like break apart in those little clumps, and it's,
Right.
I feel like we
Yeah,
saw a
it's-
lot of that
saw
today.
that
Yeah.
today.
You
a
know.
lot of
Like the-
cracking.
That
Yeah.
and the one pizza had like the sauce had an insane amount of onions. It
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
I don't
It was
want a lot,
unbelievable.
no texture in there.
Right.
It was
Really.
the grandma
if
stuff.
even any onions. You don't want to really
Yeah, you
even
can see
see
the
it.
bits of
Definitely not
onion.
see it. You hardly want to taste it.
Right.
Okay, you should really. I think the tomato sauce should kind of really kind
But
of.
there
have, like,
are
a fresh-
pies with fresh tomato that I love.
Yeah,
but it
same.
doesn't. And it's like, do you combine a fresh tomato with a pureed tomato? And almost calling it sauce is like too much. It's like
Right.
the tomato element. Like sauce to me is something that's cooked,
for hours.
right? And the tomato on the pizza that I liked the most just felt like it wasn't messed with hardly
It was
at all.
the
right.
most
like it should taste like
nude.
plants, like
Yeah.
Right.
fresh, bright.
Right. It should taste like tomatoes.
Right. Tomatoes have good, like a
Natural.
good tomato has
Right.
acidity and it has
Flavor.
Well, I
and it
think-
has
want that
sweetness
acidity.
and it. Yeah, you
You
do.
don't want
Well, and I
No
think a
way.
lot of that comes down to what canned tomatoes you're using. Because I assume, we are talking about canned tomatoes here, right? But not all of them are, equally delicious. So figuring out which one to kind of lean on,
Right.
is huge because
They're
you're going
not
to
the
taste
same.
it in a slightly raw kind of state. like partly kind of, adulterated, by the heat of the oven, but a little bit just sort of raw still.
Would we ever cook a sauce before putting it on the pizza? Is that even a thing?
We talked about it. Andy had thoughts about it.
I think a little bit of, not so much cooking the tomatoes, but like, it can't just be tomatoes. I think like a little bit of garlic is necessary, a bit of oil, definitely
oil,
salt, definitely a little bit of salt.
Herb?
Like,
So what about
Basil in?
the basil? I almost
I like
want to
basil
leave
fresh.
out.
Just on top.
I was not in any of the ones that
The ones that had the
oregano,
base.
And the oregano
like
takes
the
it to a
dried
specific
oregano.
place.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a time and a place for dried oregano, but maybe
Yeah.
it's not in. If we're going for something that feels like classic and timeless, maybe not in.
Maybe in
pie.
Brad's black olive pie,
Hey,
I love black olives
so
for the
good.
record.
I think this sauce, it's less is more.
Less is more.
Yeah.
I think they're like each element needs to be really subtle so that it comes
And
together.
Yeah,
I find when
and,
you
like,
cook the hell out
pure.
of the tomatoes, they kind of lose that like nice little sweetness to
Yeah.
it, or kind of like starts to fade a little maybe. I know some folks add like sugar or honey. I think if you find the right tomato, I don't know.
Hopefully you don't
Yeah,
need
I
it.
think
Yeah.
that's to mask like shortcomings and
Yeah.
That, but I
you
can
know.
understand. I don't want to ever want to use white sugar in it, but like a little bit of something that almost like how salt makes things pop. I can see how a little bit of sweetness could help like a canned tomato kind of pop.
I don't feel like you should need it though.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully
Hopefully
not.
you don't need it.
And then is it starting with a whole peeled tomato and
Milling it.
and food mill tearing
Yeah.
it? Like some of them I felt like had stringy texture
Yeah,
still
some
left
of them
in
were
them.
so coarse.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like but then it's like I don't want a tomato puree exactly either. Just a little.
But you don't want
itsy
Prego
almost.
chunky sauce.
No.
either,
No,
you know
not
what
at
I
all.
mean?
Right.
You don't want to be seeing. I mean, I kind of like it sometimes, but I don't. In a perfect pizza, I think it should be a very uniform kind of smooth texture, not puree, not like freaking ketchup or anything, but like,
Yeah.
tomato sauce for pizza.
I feel like food milling is
mill.
not you don't want to Cuisinart that. You
No.
got to do more than tear it.
And I've seen
Right.
folks do it with the ham, with the immersion blender, but it's sometimes
much
that goes
air.
orange,
air.
and it
yeah,
goes orange.
right. It whips it kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would
Okay.
you consider using fresh tomatoes over canned tomatoes?
Yeah, I mean, fresh tomatoes are cool. It's definitely the winter time in New York,
Yeah.
But
so
it's
we're in a little bit of a
realistic.
pickle with that one.
And there's also just like a lack of consistency. using
Totally.
fresh
Right.
tomatoes.
Well, likewise with the canned stuff, we just did a taste test
Oh,
with
yeah.
16 different varieties of whole peeled tomatoes in can, and they varied
So much.
incredibly.
Oh, I bet.
Really,
I mean,
yeah.
I bet.
Like some
All you're
of them
doing
were
is-
really tinny and super acidic, and others like obviously had sugar added, and there's the seasoning levels differed, and it was
I mean, when it comes
pretty
to
remarkable.
the canned tomatoes for sauce, I think you really need to find. There's so many variations, and people have. We just need to find what we like.
Yeah,
You
I think
know.
that's where you have to start.
Yeah.
And also maybe like discarding the puree that it's in and just using the tomato itself and the
Yeah.
water that's inside.
Yeah.
Which is like a more pure flavor.
Right.
And because sometimes, I mean, depending on the brand, like sometimes there's other things sort of added to that, the liquid that
liquid
it's
itself.
in. Yeah.
Sometimes has puree or concentrate in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even like little sugar or
What's
something.
your guys' thoughts on like San Marzano, like DOP canned tomatoes? as
They have
opposed-
a great reputation.
I think
They
they
do.
fared really well in our test. Actually.
Did they?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I know it's like the
So that could be a good place to start.
But also, like, you could, I mean, you're from New Jersey. You find great
Some of the
canned
finest tomatoes in the world.
Jersey tomatoes.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't-
can you
doesn't
grow
have
a
to be
San
Italy.
Marzano? It won't be maybe DOP if
You
it's
could
not
get
grown.
those. I
think you can
but
do
you
San
can
Marzano
grow San
style
For
Marzano
sure.
in other places.
Yeah.
Like California and Italy have very similar climates.
Right.
And it's the soil. It comes to the soil and the heat. I don't even think tomatoes start pulling nutrients from the ground until the soil is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, fun fact for you, nothing to do with pizza.
So we might cook it, but we might not. The sauce.
Yeah.
Maybe like a light simmer.
Sauce might be, I mean, not that like, okay, so there aren't that many components, so they're all important, but sauce is like so important. Sauce is like giving so much to the overall balance of the pizza at the end. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, Andy, it's just really important, so you should really work really hard.
Well, it's also just like how much you're gonna add to the bread. Like some of them, it was just so
much.
much
So
sauce.
much. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just weighs the pizza down.
Or not enough sauce.
Or not
I
enough.
hate when
And
it's
it's
just
so
like,
dry.
It's just dry.
Or
It's-
none at all.
It's cheese and bread.
Yeah.
But it
just a little
doesn't need to
smear.
be in a New York pie. It's like wall to wall everywhere. There's sauce, but I do like it when there's some. You can see
I
through
like the
in
dots,
some
the dots
Yeah,
of
spots.
and can you
you
also
know?
master the like concentric circle, like spreading
Oh,
out
that's
with the
good
ladle?
plan.
I don't
about
think
that.
it should
Yeah.
be dots of sauce. I think it should be patches of lack of cheese. I think there should be
That
sauce
I agree
everywhere.
with.
There should be sauce.
Well,
everywhere,
that's a good
But there's
segue.
thinner parts of sauce and thick. Like it's naturally going to happen, especially if you're spreading it out with a spoon.
Right.
That you'll get some
Little waves.
And then I think those thinner ones kind
Wavage.
of, I don't know, disappear as the dough bakes.
But I feel like full sauce coverage is more important than full cheese
Cheese
coverage.
coverage, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't like full cheese.
No
coverage.
Yeah,
cheese
I want to
coverage.
see. I want to
Oh,
see
yeah.
lots of pockets of sauce peeking out from like an equally like measured layer of cheese.
You know what I saw today? A lot of greasy cheese.
I saw a lot of
Yeah,
bad
a
cheese
lot
today.
of
So
greasy.
before we pivot to the cheese conversation too much, so I just want to get like a line or two, like why are we going to definitely go with tomato sauce? I mean, I know we are, but like why tomato sauce and not some other variations of sauce, just to make sure we have that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a white pie, I can get into it. I always want a little bit of sauce on the side when I do have a white pie. But
Ranch.
Ranch.
I mean, it's okay. Ranch is cool.
It's a thing.
But what the hell was I getting at? But I think, in my mind, I don't know if you guys agree, the perfect, in search of the perfect pizza, it's got tomato sauce on it.
Oh
I
yeah.
just
Yeah.
feel like the margarita is like the
Right.
ultimate
Exactly.
kind of,
the gold standard.
and that's tomato.
Right.
Agreed.
Because we were saying before, we want to do some maybe like a riff between the Neapolitan and the New York. Both have tomato sauce. Let's plow forward here.
Andy, you had pretty strong feelings about sauce, but I feel like you were still open. Like you had opinions, but you were still open to whatever was going to kind of like shake out. So like you guys can maybe work on sauce.
Take it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, a sauce I grew up. Tomato sauce is one of my favorite things. But dial in a pizza sauce, I've never really done that. You know,
Yeah.
like a tomato sauce is like a traditional, like a ragu or a
Right.
gravy.
Right,
or
Sunday gravy,
It's much
yeah.
different. This is like, I'm really into just using awesome ingredients to get that pure tomato,
delicate,
olive oil,
subtle.
hint of garlic.
A touch.
A little bit of garlic.
Yeah.
All right.
Sauce
so-
boys,
All
right
right,
Lot
here.
of
sauce
sauce
man.
about garlic.
The sauce man.
Great. All right, so let's go back to that cheese conversation. So we were talking about, how the greasy
proportions.
cheese and proportions.
Yeah.
Let's kind of continue with
Yeah.
that.
Well, like today, I thought like there were like a few crusts that I'd say like were pretty decent, and I thought like there was some tomato, kind of direction that was
Yeah.
pretty good. But I had a really hard time with the cheese today.
I had a lot of bad cheese.
And I think
today.
that's where like the Neapolitan versus New York thing kind of comes in. Like Neapolitan, I feel like you're leaning more heavily on like fresh mozzarella, like fior di latte, or
Buffalo.
the
Yeah.
buffalo mozzarella. Whereas New York, it's like it's kind of more of a blend, and it's part low moisture, and it's part kind of more fresh mozzarella, and like. But I don't know.
I understand
where
the
to kind
argument
of
for
come
the
down
low,
on.
the low moisture. Like I understand that
The
that
meltability.
it melts well,
Stretchy, gooey
and
melt,
it doesn't
yeah.
have all the water content that's sogging out. But also, some of my favorite pies I ever had were like the liquid of the cheese,
The
like
salty
became
buffalo
part of the
milk.
sauce and when it's heated up and it's like all mixing in with the olive oil, it's like really a beautiful thing. But you do get a little bit of a swimming pool.
A puddleage.
Yeah.
I can't deal with the like puddle of water in the middle.
But I know what
The,
you mean.
like-
I've tasted
It's gotta
that.
be like a balance of the two, I think. Like I hear you on that.
Yeah.
But I just can't have like a puddle of water that's sogging out in the center and then just dripping off and landing on my plate.
I think you just have to use less fresh mozzarella. When you're,
And do you think it's a blend of cheeses?
I think the only two cheeses should be mozzarella and Parmesan.
and
Parm.
Parm. But Parm's not going to be Parm's not going to prevent a fresh mozz from going into the swimming pool.
No.
That's the mod.
What if you
gonna
were
be later
like,
on.
But at least-
did you draw some of the moisture out of it before you used it, or did you just not
Oh,
want
you
to?
could try, but
Well, I feel like with like buffalo mozzarella, like the moisture is in there. It would be
Yeah.
like trying to
So,
squeeze out
right,
like
right,
a
right.
very
Yeah.
tough sponge, But I feel like Parm, from the flavor perspective,
I
it
also-
makes sense.
like you see it around, but then also just like tearing it and
Right.
see how that
Yeah.
how it's gonna release.
Yeah,
I
sometimes,
feel like it
those
should
rounds.
be pulled apart, the cheese.
Yeah.
And
Pulled
not
apart,
sliced.
and there is
Not
something.
Not sliced. I also don't think it should ever really be refrigerated.
Right.
Interesting.
The
Ha-
cheese.
it should
If
never
it's
be
fresh-
refrigerated.
Well, fresh mozzarella.
Never. The buffalo, they
isn't-
never.
Right. It should be fresh.
You get it that when I was.
But I don't think that we really ever really get that. You
And
know?
I know
Yeah.
what you're saying too. I've been to Italy, and having that fresh buffalo mozzarella, that briny saltiness that comes
Yeah.
out of it, it does do a magical thing on this pizza with the tomato and the dough.
Yeah,
but it
and
has to have
so
it has to be
it's so
salty.
like lactic. It's like
So
that
lactic.
intense like milkiness
Right, it's like
that
that
balances
tang.
out so well with like all the other components. Like that's what I really want.
And it's soft too. It's not bouncy. Like
Right,
I was
right,
like
right.
chewing
It's a
on a
rubber-
lot of
right.
bouncy cheese today.
Yeah.
You know?
And the fat like separates, and then you
Yeah.
just have this greasy
Yeah, yeah.
sheen, and it
Right, and then
shouldn't-
a
it's
very
not,
firm, leathery
I vote
cheese
buffalo
pie.
mozzarella.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's.
But maybe with some parm.
Yeah.
Maybe with
But
some
do you
parm,
want the
something.
parm sprinkled fresh on top at the end, or like
Yeah.
baked on it?
I don't know.
Like
want-
I don't
baked
love baked
I want it
ground
on top. I
parm.
think it's something
I want it
that
on top,
happens.
too.
Like
At the
a funk
end.
happens that I
Yeah.
don't like
Yes,
when it's
agreed.
actually
Yeah,
baked.
agreed.
But it's something really magical happens when the Parmesan goes on top,
Yeah.
marrying with the other flavors,
Yeah.
especially the mozzarella.
Yeah.
And it gets warmed up.
Yeah, because
I
I
don't-
mean, even buffalo mozzarella is the most flavorful cheese out there. I'm just gonna say
It's
that.
pretty awesome
It's
though, man. You
tangy,
get it
like,
good,
though.
it kind of changes things.
It is tangier though, so it's something to consider with the sauce. Is that we have like acidic on acidic there.
Totally. And a super fermented yeasty dough can also have like a
Right.
sourness
Right.
to it, and that would be like a
Sour on sour on
But there
sour.
also
And
be
then you
like
would
a
need the,
considerable amount
sugar.
of fat
Sweet.
to
Yeah.
balance
Sugar
it all
over here.
out.
Yeah, that's true.
The cheese and the oil.
Like I want it. It would be great if like the one we come up with at the end tastes like a fresh product. You know,
Yeah.
like if we're using great flour, which is from wheat, which is like we can treat sort of as like a fresh produce item because it's a plant. And the same
Right.
with the tomatoes, and the cheese being like a super fresh, pure product.
Right.
Like I think all of those things together, it's like this magical thing happens when it all kind of bakes
Yeah.
into
Totally.
this.
Do we
thing.
still have that flour mill, that grain mill?
I think that went home.
Cut.
It could.
There is
It
a
could
grain.
return.
I mean, there's a
It has a
grain.
fees.
There's a grain jar for the
It
Vitamix.
has a day rate.
Oh, yeah.
True. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the KitchenAid
Hey, you wear
or
that.
the
Yeah,
stand
I
mixer
sure
has a
did.
grain mill that
Oh, that's right.
Whitney
We
is
just looked
been
at
testing
that.
out.
Sure,
She
sure,
just
sure.
called it in.
Maybe,
Like that.
maybe the kitchen needs another one called in though.
Definitely.
Unless
The
it's
Como
Yeah, it
too
must have gotten lost.
inconsistent. But yeah, we should experiment
We
with
had
it.
that red
Oh,
one,
yeah, we
but they
should.
made me send it back. remember?
Yeah, that
Shame
one
on
wasn't
you.
very good. We need that grain milk.
Yeah.
So we
You have to be.
decided a mix of fresh mozz and Provel, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Right. The only cheese
No
that stays
problem.
melted after you melt it.
I don't know how to spell it.
no Provel.
You got it.
Come on.
Nailed it.
Rude.
Yeah.
Wait, but-
And then also with the cheese, I feel like also some of them were like maybe we didn't see them today, but the little balls, you know,
Oh.
The
like the
bocconcini.
mozzarella.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Oh, that. No.
I don't think I got that.
was.
No, I don't think he's.
so. I don't know
I
if we
think that's
had
all
it, but I feel like that would be bad.
Buffalo
Like you can't
bocconcini.
cheat the tearing by starting with little balls.
Oh,
of
Yeah.
no. You want them torn.
It's
it was
not like
that
you gotta
thread
tear.
you
No
kinda-
polka dots.
Cool.
What are they?
So
usually
we're
like
tearing
8
the
ounces?
cheese.
Are they 8 ounces or 1?
I think they're like
12
no,
to
16.
No, I think-
16.
A pound.
I think it's a pound or
16 to 24 maybe,
I don't think it's
actually.
24.
Wait,
It's
what are we-
16.
what are we talking about?
I don't think it's
Balls
no
and
more than a
mozzarella.
pound.
They're almost
Oh.
a pound.
Yeah, I think it's usually.
One
but-
thing is a pound?
Well, of
Mozzarella?
a regular fresh mozzarella, but
thought it was 8
the buffalo
ounces.
usually
No.
are more like half a pound or 500
I don't know, but
grams.
good. I want them now.
I don't know what grams are.
So wait, we're gonna have to overnight this buffalo mozzarella so that it never has to be refrigerated.
correct.
You
the
guys
thing.
go to Naples.
Wow.
We're flying it in.
Or you're
Yeah. All right.
I don't think you
Dang.
can take that
Shotgun
on
on
the
that.
plane.
But
It's
I've
called-
had
you got a
fresh
lot. It's
mozzarella
custom.
made in. So I worked at an Italian restaurant for a time, and we used to make fresh mozz in house.
Yeah.
And so we would get the curds and like do the whole thing with
Yeah.
hot
Yeah.
water
But
and like
is
the
the-
pulling.
Gotcha.
So you don't need to necessarily buy it.
But is
Right,
the
so-
buffalo, is it pasteurized?
Not good stuff.
I don't think you can.
How do we get
FDA
that back
over
here?
there.
Don't tell customs.
I don't know. The great state of New Jersey, perhaps. You just never know.
You never know. So you gotta know
I think
that.
there's buffalo in Vermont also.
They have water buffalo, right?
Yeah, there might be
They're
a
in the
herd.
United States for sure.
Yeah.
There's
come
places
back.
You can go.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big cow, right?
And I think they have like a real high fat content, right? That's
Yeah.
why they like
Yeah.
to use it.
Right.
Milk, yeah.
Which is
Okay, so fresh buffalo milk coming in from some
Somewhere-
CBD location.
somewhere near
in
Naples,
the
I'm
continental
assuming.
48.
But we should probably just go to Italy and just like check
All
in
right,
on the
Molly.
scene.
I mean, if you want to be
It's your own
OG
segment.
about
I'm
it.
saying everyone else claimed all the other components, but what's left?
I mean, the search for perfection may elude us, but we should search.
We should try.
It doesn't mean you shouldn't go looking.
I just have a quick question. Is your passport up to date?
Yes.
It is.
But I did
Sure
just.
hope so.
Is yours not?
Passport. No, mine's good.
It has to be within. It has to be. Was I saw Kalu's thing? Like,
Yeah,
it
within
can't
a
expire
few
within 2
months.
months.
No. I went through this with the name change recently.
Cool.
I got
JIC
a
passport.
You can get it done on the quick, but it's expensive.
Why are you asking about the passport?
I don't know. No reason.
Are you guys trying to go to Italy?
I mean,
I'm not
I
trying
wouldn't
to go
hate
to Italy.
it. So if you guys wish.
All right, so you guys, you claim cheese.
I think
Carla
she's
Molly.
claimed us.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're
that's
right.
how I look at it.
Yeah.
The motherland is going to call you home, and you'll just take Molly with you.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
If you say so.
Yeah.
What is left?
Are you going to find the other lollies?
There are lollies.
Are they Neapolitan?
They are near Naples. Actually,
Okay.
they're in Avellino.
Okay.
There are some lollies still in the great grandfather's house.
Amazing.
That's where my
Yeah.
grandfather was from Naples too.
Right? Really?
Leone, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you're just going to go to Jersey.
That's fine. I lived there.
I'll check in on that. You have a card.
No, yeah, I'll tell him you're coming.
All right, let's have a conversation about toppings.
Yeah, wait.
Right.
Can I? So I have an important question about toppings.
Is one of
Because
them pineapple?
no,
Okay.
one of them is not pineapple. But like, how do you guys feel about? Like, I love the look of like the really quaint little oil can with like the drizzle of oil on top.
Yes.
But it's
Yeah.
like, do you at some point you just like get too much fat?
I
Like,
feel like
you
that
have to have that?
handful of cheese at the end and that little bit of fresh olive oil
Yeah.
that is in some other component also, but
Yeah.
And I
that's
want
been
like,
in the
that
oven.
spicy
Mhm.
olive
Brings it
oil,
back.
super
Yeah.
extra
Yes,
virgin.
it does give you that like there's a little pepperiness, like,
grassiness. It comes back. It kind of.
But I was
Full
really
circle.
curious, like what people use, like like serious pizzaiolas in America. Like, what do they want? A really aggressive peppery
Right.
oil that
Right.
might mask some of the other things that might
Right.
be going on, with the pizza, or do they want a softer oil that's like a little bit more in balance?
Right.
So I'm curious, like literally, like what oil?
Yeah.
Because
Right.
we tasted so many olive oils.
Personal preference, I guess.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
think
find
that these
that-
other components, like we're saying, might need something else.
The
Might
soft-
need it to go one way or the other.
right.
The soft oil might just, for me, it would just kind of read as just another layer of fat.
Right.
Like I like that spicy,
You want
peppery.
something pungent.
Yeah,
so
but not too
that
peppery
grassy.
at the same time.
Yeah.
I know how
Not
you
too-
feel
yeah,
about
you
your
know
olive
me and
oil.
the grass,
But
yeah.
then don't you also really want the like all the scattering of fresh basil,
Basil,
on top?
yeah.
For
After.
sure.
Of
Like that's
course.
essential.
I don't
Yes.
know if the oil. Well, I don't think the oil necessarily needs to go like on the cheese and the sauce.
Well, you know
more
what
just, like,
goes
around.
great?
Uh-huh.
Buffalo mozzarella? It's olive oil.
Yeah.
For sure.
True.
It's like all they put on it.
But
Yeah.
you don't want the bitter one. I hear what you're saying with like a too aggressive,
Personal
too
preference.
pungent. Yeah. But you got,
So I think we're gonna have to at least entertain like proper toppings like meat,
Right.
pepperoni, vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we don't land there, I think we should at least have like a discussion about it. So
Uh-huh.
just as like the starting point, like if you guys order
Cool, I got
toppings,
a great little jumper in
Oh
there.
yeah, well,
Go ahead.
Go
yeah,
for
we
it,
can
yeah.
make one green
no,
bell
speaking-
pepper
no,
pie
no.
for you.
Leave green bell peppers out of this.
And
They're
sorry,
excellent.
and mushroom.
No, but we were tasting
Oh
a few
my
things
God.
today, and like, you know what we're talking about toppings. You know what I don't want on my pizza is, a cheesesteak. Or, well, no, like something,
Did you get
the
some
one
of the
has like,
cheesesteak today?
I'm just
No.
saying, you go into
I
those
get it, the buffalo
pizzerias,
chicken.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want a
No.
deconstructed
No.
sandwich.
or like eggplant parm as
No.
a topping.
It's pretty good though. But the one had like zucchini, had like the zoodles on it.
Terrible.
I love
I don't want
zucchini.
salad on my pizza.
Even the mushrooms, like I can't with those mushrooms.
They were
Those mushrooms are
dried
terrible.
out.
Hydrated
They
I
weren't the
mean,
best, but
I
I
grew
love
up in New
mushrooms.
York, and one of the things that I love, obviously, is pepperoni pizza. And when you get the good pepperoni that's really thin, and then it curls
The cups,
up,
the
and then
cups
it
of
makes
fat.
a cup
The
filled
oil cups.
with
Yeah.
pepperoni
Oh, yeah.
oil.
It's delicious.
I'm pretty sure
Love that.
everyone
And even
talked
though
about that
the
today.
pepperoni pizza is pretty awesome. There's something, even though it's like grease and it's running,
Yeah.
but that grease is like,
Well, we used to let it
Fantastic.
drip down on the plate, but then take the crust and
And mop
sop
it
it
up.
up. Yeah.
But like,
I would
can
do that
you
right now.
can
Yeah.
you put pepperoni on?
no.
buffalo mozzarella on like a Neapolitan style
You could put
pie.
soppressata.
But I think you can do
Alright.
a lot. Yeah, you could do like a hot copa or something.
Okay.
Because I feel like
I would be into that.
if we get all these other components lined up, I feel like maybe at the very end we can have like, okay, maybe like we get the,
Claire can have a cup or
pineapple
two.
and the ham
Okay.
in there.
What?
Maybe we get
No.
some. I'm just saying, you can just see, does it work? Does it not work?
Okay.
It doesn't
I don't think it
work.
works.
On my pizza.
Yeah, same.
I'm
Curious
totally
about
cool
the
with
copa.
it.
I don't-
Is copa cured with a lot of like fennel and other spices, or is it really just pork and spice?
And you talking draping at
Because
the end or cooking that
I really
stuff?
don't mind something with
no,
heat.
no.
Like
I like they cook it under the cheese of the spot near me in my neighborhood,
That's
and it's
good.
actually
so
pretty good because it kind of gets melty, but
is
it's
that
still
the
like
perfect
pretty like
pizza?
chewy
You
texture.
want-
I'm not saying it's the perfect pizza,
we
but
are-
it's a pizza,
Yeah.
and it's really
It is
freaking
a
good,
pizza.
and we can find out.
First of all, like,
I'm sorry, keep talking. I think less is more. You know, we're going for all these efforts for
Wait,
awesome cheese,
Can we
awesome
talk
dough,
about
awesome
pickled
sauce.
chilies?
Jesus Christ.
I'm just if the toppings
Calabrian
aren't
chilies?
toppings that are going on the pizza in the oven because that feels a little wrong if we're going in this like classic direction.
what kind of chili?
On the side. I like
Maybe
on the
it's
side.
spicy.
But how many
pickled
people
chilies.
got into their chili flake and their parm in the shaker? Like there was only one that I did that
Well, it was
for.
pecorino, so after my first shake, I wasn't into it.
Oh, I didn't even.
I like the
I
Calabrian
knew.
chili
Didn't even touch.
paste.
Calabrian.
I like the
On the side.
Calabrian
Calabrian.
chilies or
And
pickled
the
fresh
Calabrian
chili.
oil.
I like that
Yeah, yeah.
acidic hot pickle at Speedy Romeo.
Yes, they also do it at Ops. That for me is the topping.
Well, I asked Chris the other day, like, between, you always see in the shakers, oregano, Parmesan, and red pepper flakes. Which one do you reach for?
It's red pepper flakes.
The red pepper
Repeat the
flake
question.
always.
Because the parm is always the shittiest
Always
parm. It's
Yeah.
just like
I don't
cardboard.
want
Well, it depends where you are. If
Well,
you're
they
at
do
the
the
New York
garlic
Slice
powder
Shop.
too, don't they do that? In
Oh,
the
I like that
powders?
too.
Yeah.
Granulated garlic.
Ooh, sometimes I can get into that.
It's good.
I
With
would
the red
do
pepper
on
flake.
like
Yeah.
a regular street slice,
Yeah.
the chili flake and the
But it's always all seeds.
granulated
Well, I
It's
don't
garlic.
all
to be
seeds. It's
overpowering.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Only like the seeds fall out of the
Majority,
holes.
yes,
The rest of it
majority,
goes
But I
yes.
put
out.
It's
Come on.
turned, but I think sometimes
Little
you
heat.
just want heat.
But I
It doesn't
want
need to
heat.
be
Little bit of heat.
complex.
Yeah.
On the side.
What's wrong with the seeds? What you got against
No,
the
the
seeds?
I don't.
ratio.
Just the ratio. The
yeah.
holes only let the
It's like a
seeds through,
scale.
and
I
then they
like
hold
the-
back all
Uncle
the
Tony's
flakes.
got all the seeds
I like
and
it
he
when they're
sells it.
chained to the wall.
Oh yeah, so you know it's classy. Yeah.
That's the deal.
I'm just gonna write down spice.
All right, I have pickled chilies here. Sounds
Okay,
like
good.
that
Spice
is an
on the side.
important
You guys,
element
I haven't
for
given
some
a single
people
post-it
anyway.
into the center.
Well, Claire,
Well, do you have a
Like-
pen?
Yeah. I've just been sitting here clicking
Why
the top
don't
the
you
whole
just
time.
put grain mill on
cool,
your
right?
list?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yes,
Recover
yes.
grain mill.
Grain. Ooh.
But I was
mill.
when the sausage slice that I had today, I was not mad about it.
Me neither.
I liked it.
Oh, I didn't get a sausage
it a
slice.
I didn't get sausage.
No, I didn't
It was
mind.
like
At least it
ground
had
up
a little
sausage,
fennel
right?
seed on there.
It was
And
it
a
had the
crisp
fennel.
at least on top to add some texture.
Don't you feel like that always just dries out though? Like I feel like whereas a
Not if it's
pepperoni
done well,
can like
no.
get crisp and you're still enjoying it, but
If it
dried
hasn't
out
spent
sausage.
so
But
much
this-
time in the oven.
But the sausage brings up the question for toppings of like to pre-cook or not to pre-cook, depending
Right,
on
yeah.
what you're
Right.
adding.
I'm sticking to.
Well, it's also the thing is the sausage releases
you have
so
to-
much
you
fat,
have to
and then
pre-cook
you have
the
the
sausage.
mozzarella that's going to release so much liquid, and then
Right.
it just ends up being a pool.
and
So
then
Right.
it
you have
and then
to
it
be-
hides everything.
That's why I think if you're gonna do something that's meat, like it has to be cured.
yeah,
Like it
I
has to
agree.
be. But I feel like there's a lot of acidic components. Like the olive oil drizzle could be acidic. The tomatoes can be acidic. The cheese itself has tang. The
Right.
crust,
Right.
depending on if we go for like long fermented, could have tang. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I
Just,
vote
I'm just
no
closing the loop on the
I'm just
pickled
saying,
chilies.
if you
I
went
don't really
to
want
a-
something pickled.
If you went to a
necessarily.
great pizza place that you know makes great, like a place like Franny's or a place like Roberta's, and you know that every pie in there, they're special pies, and you order one pie, you're gonna order margarita.
Yeah, probably.
If you're
Desert Island
if you're
pizza?
seriously trying
It's
to
a
judge
test.
the place,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, not Desert
Yeah.
Island.
It's like getting
Deserted
a roast
Island?
chicken in a French place.
Deserted Island pizza.
Yeah.
I'm going
Also,
with
I don't
the,
think any of
I'm
us
going
are
with
going
the
to order in one
simple.
pie.
Really?
We're going to order 2 or 3, even if it's
Right,
just
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like you have a margarita to kind of like, all right, get the lay of the
The
land, and
appetizer.
then graduate to something that is like maybe got a little bit more. I'm just saying I wouldn't
understand.
rule it out.
But how do we even?
I
I
vote
feel
no
like you have
topping.
to narrow no topping. I think you have to narrow with the topping.
Basil and olive oil.
And that's
the
it.
parmesan.
I'm into that. I'm into that.
The parm.
But do we come up with one alt with some kind of cured meat on it? And
I think we
I
should
would
at
not
least
object.
taste it.
Half
Yeah.
a pie?
We should at
Half
least
pie?
taste it.
We should at least taste it.
Yeah.
Some kind of cured meat.
I can
Yeah,
get
I
it.
think
I
we
can
can
get
agree
it.
on that.
Yeah.
I don't think sausage though.
No.
All right.
No.
Just there's pork, question
Or
mark.
thin slice.
Yes, TK pork.
TK pork.
And
we
no
got heat.
prosciutto, actually.
No,
So-
definitely
prosciutto.
No,
Right.
prosciutto's too weird and
Yeah.
funky and stringy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless
How about
it's straight
mortadella? Have you guys had the
it's
mortadella pie?
so
at Bob's?
good.
I don't
It's-
want cooked. I don't really want cooked mortadella.
I just want mozzarella on the side. It's fine.
Yeah, I just
I will have
eat
mortadella on the side.
Give me a side of mortadella. Oh my god.
But I think in my perfect pizza world, it's really just kind of focusing and respecting on the essence of it, the basics, you know,
Yeah.
the dough, the sauce, and just getting the best possible ingredients and techniques to get that.
I think you also have to add the basil when the pie is hot.
Yeah.
Like the basil that is just dry and like floating around, like you breathe out as you're bringing it to, and the basil flies away.
So you mean like pulling out your pizzas out of the oven
When it's really
resting
hot.
and
Yeah.
tearing
It's
leaves.
slightly. Yeah.
And
And it's
it
just
should
wilting
get
out.
kissed by the
the kind of aroma
Little
can
bit-
sit on it that way.
Otherwise, it's just like a floof
Yeah, I don't need a
topper.
leafy
Yeah.
basil in my
Agree.
mouth.
Fresh basil.
And we're saying no basil in the oven. None of that black
No.
stuff.
No,
coming out.
No.
No, you saw that
You
one
can't
with
really-
the chiffonade.
Oh,
it's
Yeah,
terrible.
look at that.
Eye.
Terrible.
Yeah, they thought
Black.
they were cute.
But it was
The
like
one with the
pre-fried or
ricotta.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, we didn't talk about ricotta.
Yeah.
Ricotta came up a lot today.
Yeah.
Oh, the pipe.
But
If
we're
it
not
were
going
something
to
like
pie.
super
ricotta.
well, if it were,
The piped out one.
I'll do ricotta if it's like really nice ricotta. If it's like sheep's milk ricotta or something super creamy that can hold up to the oven heat and stay, creamy. But like that ricotta pie today with the chiffonaded basil was bullshit.
I mean, maybe we'll just explore ricotta just for
I
shits
know.
and
Wait,
giggles.
You guys,
if we're
I
going to
think,
be
hated
there.
the pizza so much more than I did. I was just like, I'm just
No, I
avoiding
was very,
Wait, were you
accepting
first?
of like
I was
positive
second, I was after
attributes.
Carla. Well, I hadn't eaten anything, so I
These
kind
are
of
all
thought they all
delicious.
I think there's just like
It's
a
just
second
I think
taste.
it's just that you're a nice person.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Carla. But I did admit, like, I feel like there's like a weird gap in my like food education about pizza, and partly it might be
was
that
the
I just like
perfect show for you.
underappreciated. Well, that's why I have to do like a lot of research. But I think for the dough, the big questions are like type of flour and then type of leavening.
Right.
But I'm just excited because I feel like maybe I've been sort of like spoiled and lazy because there's just like a lot of good pizza, and so I haven't had to think that much about it or like
Right.
really seek it out, and so I have to I'm like excited to be serious about it and really figure out like what is going to make the ideal base,
Yeah.
because I know that like you guys are I'm sure like gonna nail your
I
components.
think the dough is so crucial.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's the vessel for everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everything's important because it's ultimately it's a very simple food.
Well, the simple
You know,
things tend to be
the hardest.
tend to be the most difficult.
So harmony. Should we write that one down? Everything in harmony.
Yes.
No
All right.
Harmonic.
I like it.
Okay, so there's one person left who needs to be assigned something, so you should do toppings, and if you feel strongly about your cured meats
Oh,
also.
Yeah, you team up a golden
Careful,
boy.
I'll slip pineapple in there so fast you won't
No
even know what happens.
way.
Please.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of
Please.
fighting about
The toppings
toppings,
are gonna
but
be-
I think
I
that's
think it's going to
good.
make for a good episode.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to make for good pizza.
Wait, how serious are you about the pineapple?
Oh, no, I'm just joking.
Okay, thank God.
I'm just saying at the
I was like,
maybe,
this is our
maybe-
topping person?
Maybe like the last pie of the day when we have everything else nailed, I can
little
just slip
pineapple
one
on
Hawaiian
there?
in there.
So Andy's gonna be
You'll
with you.
eat it. I'll
Yeah,
check
yeah,
on
Andy,
it.
keep
You'll
them in
eat it.
check. Are you going to be curing your own copa or whatever?
Ooh.
do it. We gotta
Let's
start
do it.
soon.
We need to
You
go.
can
Yeah.
hang them in your closet at home.
do
It's the
another
perfect
regional.
temperature.
I feel you're like the bridge between the sauce and the top. You know what I mean? Because like that's important how those two
Yeah,
play
marriage.
together.
And you're going to help
Yeah.
me with the dough tossing, yeah?
Yeah, it takes a village.
It's like I've seen the back of
back of the hand.
but then also some guys just like it's like
Yeah.
a little
Push.
yeah.
Push.
Yeah.
You're just like massaging the
Yeah.
baby, and then that that edge
Yeah.
never really gets pushed down.
You know what I love
Right.
is like, have you seen the videos of like the New Haven guys doing it with the
Oh,
pizza
yeah.
peels that are like 18 feet long? It's like, if I had to maneuver that,
You
it's
get used to it.
amazing.
like clothesline all of you.
Right. Yeah, I feel like you'll go deep on some olive oil tasting too.
Cool.
Wait, can
Yeah.
we go to New Haven? I've never had
Frank
New Haven
Peps?
pizza, and I
They
need to
reached
go.
out to
Frank
me. They
Pepe's.
were,
should.
they were all about it.
Yeah, great.
I need a clam pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go there and cook it in their oven. Let's talk heat.
We should go to my mom's house for the wood burning oven.
Whoa.
My mom has a pizza oven.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
Like an
amazing.
actual
I like that
one.
better than going to a restaurant and being like,
'Cause
hey
we
guys,
could
move aside,
actually-
we figured it out.
Easy.
Even though you guys are
You
like,
guys
Pretty
suck.
much.
You can use your
And
oven
it's
and
a
your
home.
wood.
yeah, it's kind of off.
Yeah.
Could be.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, she flew that thing in. Neapolitan style.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And
All right,
creamy.
well, that's-
yeah.
How come this just came
Hello.
No, I feel like
Carol
wait, but
always got
isn't it
a
indoor?
oven?
Isn't it indoor?
Yeah, it's indoor
It's
pizza
in their, like,
oven.
grill room.
Yeah, we
Oh,
make a
rain or
lot of
shine.
pizza.
How hot does it get?
Fucking hot.
As
However
hot
hot you
as
make
you
it.
want it to be. Yeah.
Inside?
Too hot. Oh yeah. It'll
That
get
sounds so
over
smoky.
1,000.
No,
I
they
mean,
got
we
the
have one of the
ventilation.
laser thingies that goes up to 1,000, and
yeah,
it's like
done.
error,
Off the-
error,
off the
error,
chart.
beep, beep, beep. Yeah.
Is your
Wow.
mom down if we just
Oh, yeah.
take over the house?
Yeah, she loves it.
All
Where's she
right.
They have a place in Connecticut.
Going to
Yeah,
Connecticut.
going. We
And
got
then we can
Jersey,
come in
we
New
got
Haven.
New York, we got
Tri-state
Connecticut,
Tri-state area.
That's right.
Upper East.
Good. Maybe
you
then we'll
know.
get to leave Manhattan.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you can't come actually. You're out of days.
But to practice with.
Yeah, right.
You
I
gotta
think
use
right,
some-
just for testing purposes, and
In
at
the
least
kitchen.
at least then we can keep the like cooking variable the same and test across the different dough styles.
What if the pizza camp guy? What was his oven situation? Wood burning
Oh,
in
I have
Philly?
the book. I have to.
Padilla?
Oh, his is
Padilla, yeah. Because his sauce is
coal
really nice.
or wood. Yeah,
That-
and the dough too. Apparently,
The
is
dough
amazing.
is
The dough is
really,
wonderful.
You
It's a
did
great
it,
recipe
right?
too. You
Yeah.
can follow.
I don't have the book. I found like a.
I think we have a couple.
We should look at
Yeah.
that. That dough is good.
Yeah,
It
He
works.
definitely believes in like auto lease.
Yeah.
yeah. For
Remember we made it. I made it here.
what kind of flour is he using?
I don't.
think
He just says like 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 AP.
like high.
But he tells people for your home ovens to definitely have bricks and like an insane preheating time.
Yeah.
right. Preheated
But his
500
oven
for
gets
like
hotter.
right.
When
let's
he
quickly talk about the options for cooking. So we could do wood fire oven. Obviously, there's like pizza stones. There we could do coal. So
Yeah.
we need to like discuss
Right.
some like the possibilities.
Right.
Well, where are you going to be testing? In
So
here?
I'm gonna test in the kitchen.
Okay.
Because you guys obviously have to like. I feel like it's very important that you guys like see what the versions are and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Okay.
that's just like initial testing. But for the final thing,
I mean, there's a lot of options. There's wood, coal, gas.
right, coal is like the classic New York one.
Right.
I don't even know if anyone. I was just reading like Patsy's still cooks in like their coal oven, but like I don't
Right.
know who still does that.
I mean, wood sounds pretty awesome. You get
The
that
wood
little
burning,
hint.
I mean, I just always think of the Neapolitan pies, but
Right.
you know, places that I love like Franny's and Roberta's.
Sure.
It was wood.
Yeah,
Wood seems right.
it just has to be like extremely
I
hot.
just don't know, having never cooked in a coal oven. Like, I don't know, is that the best?
Just gets hotter.
coal just seems wrong somehow.
Yeah, coal is a hot topic.
You know.
Literally.
Yeah.
I bet you. I mean, I'm sure it works great.
And then those deck ovens like are so the heat's. You know, the
So
downside to the wood burning is like the closer you get, it could
Right,
be
you gotta
800
work
over
it.
there and 300
Right.
over
You
gotta
here.
move
You
it.
got to
Right.
rotate it. You got to thing it. You got to have a dome. You know, real estate
First
ain't
one won't
cheap.
be perfect.
Well, and
yeah.
it's like it takes just like from what I know about bakers that bake in wood ovens, like it takes a really long time to master.
Dial in your.
Yeah, like temperatures and hot spots and all that. So it's like I've never even cooked in wood burning, so
Yeah.
maybe we need your mom.
Does she
Maybe.
have a lot of
That.
experience making pizzas in there?
We've done it for a long,
You
I think
15 years
She knows her
now.
hot spots.
Well, the hot spots,
Change.
wherever you are closest to the embers.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
how big the fire is. Well,
And
I
the
think-
back of the oven is always hotter because of the way the thing, but
Yeah.
I like
feel like
also
it's good to-
sometimes they like, you'll see the pizzaiolos like lift it up so that
flash
they're
the bottom.
getting
And do
that.
like a
Oh wow.
No, they're
Closer
getting
to the
more
top.
closer to the top to get the
Hit
melty.
cheese. Yeah, hit the
Oh,
cheese.
oof, that makes sense. Well, I think between all of us, we can figure out a pretty good sweet spot in the wood fire.
Well, also here's a really important question, and this is something I'm going to pose to like the experts that we're going to talk to. But for testing the dough, it's like this is going to be happening before you guys make your determinations about cheese and sauce and toppings. So like, how do we? Like, I feel like you have to test with something wet on
Right.
the dough to see how it holds up. But like, what are we going to put on it to come up with some really, at least just keeping that variable the same across all the different
Right.
doughs, and maybe
That
just
is
coming up with
a great question.
like a super 1.0 sauce and
I
maybe
think
like
you
one
keep
style.
it simple, and we just have to craft like some sort of a prototype of a sauce and get fresh mozzarella. It's not
Yeah,
going to
to
be
get
the
on
best
that
of the
quick.
best.
Right,
Yeah.
We
but
won't
just
have
keeping it
honed
the
in on
same
it.
across all the tests.
Yeah,
Right.
And then that way, at least you have like a
Some
moisture
kind of
Right,
gauge.
right. Because I'm not
Right.
trying to just like
And we
make
won't
flatbread
be,
for
it
you
won't
guys
be
to
about the
taste.
flavor necessarily of those things, but
Right.
just the way that they,
Right.
I think
the
we could
dough
find a
holds
good
it all.
store bought. I have an idea of one, and then a
Store
cheese.
bought what?
Well, sauce, or
What?
or
No.
testing. Isn't that
I
what
think
you're saying?
we can mill some tomatoes.
Whoa.
For the
No
testing.
problem. We'll do that. Then.
I
And we'll
think
get some fresh
the
mozz.
pizza camp. I don't know. We all really liked it when we were developing that.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take a
Or
look.
should we call
But
in
maybe
some
look
great
around.
sauce?
Yeah, or we just
But
go.
any sauce we call in is going to be super cooked.
No, from like any number of pizza
Oh,
places.
like
just
borrow
be like,
some
can we
sauce?
get 2 quarts of sauce for a recipe development?
Should also be like, can I get a couple of pounds of dough?
yeah.
Just use your dough.
Can you just make the pizza?
Right.
And we'll be
With the
there.
sauce, we're gonna what, mill our own tomatoes, I believe.
Figure it out. I don't-
Oh, Andy's committing to
tomatoes.
nothing.
But I'm saying maybe to what you were saying, Carla, we can just mill some tomatoes, make like a base kind of.
Yeah,
She needs
throw a little
something.
salsa.
Something
Yeah,
to
I
work
never
with.
would have thought of that.
I need, preferably like a blank canvas.
Well,
you know?
okay, who's making the best Neapolitan style pizza in New York that we could go to, taste, and then
I don't
maybe...
know if we should say that on record.
I know.
That's okay. I mean, we've thrown around a lot of other names here. Or who could we
true.
call on for
Well, I'm
testing?
going to be doing some research at like some places, like local places, about dough.
Okay.
And I can talk to them
But
about
pizza places?
sauce. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
Yeah, don't talk to them about the sauce. Just like check out their
for
sauce.
just say,
Extra go,
take a
and-
little, help myself to like a little taste while no one's looking. Just go snooping around
Yeah, just be
while there's
stealth about
cameras.
it.
Okay, cool. I'll try. You're gonna have
We're
to shut us
nothing if
up.
not chatting.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's cut.